guys, big breaking news coming out. Russian President Putin tells the US he will stop the war in exchange for eastern Ukraine. Wow. And today is that deadline. So we have all the breaking news that's coming out right now. It says here, Putin open to peace deal if West recognizes Moscow control over Donbas region. Europe has serious reservations. Donbas, Zaporizhia, and Kherson all voted freely to join Russia. Will Europe respect democracy and the will of the people? We have more breaking news. The Kiev Independent is putting out this information. Peace talk will include some swapping of territories, Donald says, ahead of proposed meeting with Putin. This will be amazing if this goes through. And hold on, look at this one here. Look at this one here. Donald makes history. Armenian and Zaporizhian shake hands. Look at this here. Amazing. Amazing. Alright guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and a PayPal link in the comments box and also description box. Thank you again for your support. We're going to get to all this news here, guys. This is a big breaking news. What are your thoughts? Leave comments down below. Now, this is the type of stuff I like to see. Now, again, I don't like to see the sleeping giant getting involved in biblical war. But Donald, what he's doing here, he's trying to end all this. And it seems like so far it's looking pretty good. All right, so this is a good thing here. And so far, Donald has done amazing when it comes to Azerbaijan and man, I forget the name of those two countries. I totally apologize, guys. So Donald reveals Putin meeting details after the Bear President Eastern Ukraine demand. Now it says here, Donald on Friday announced that he will be meeting his counterpart, again the Bear leader counterpart Vladimir, over a potential ceasefire in Ukraine, and that's going to be next week. It seems like there's going to be big news next week. Donald on Friday announced that he will be meeting his Russian counterpart Vladimir over a potential cease plan in Ukraine. The 79 years old confirmation came during a three-way summit with the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan. So those are the two countries that I was trying to pronounce the name. Now, Putin has reportedly agreed to halt the war with Ukraine, but has some demands. All right. It says here, I'll be meeting very shortly with Putin. It will have been sooner, but I guess there's security arrangements that fortunately people have to make, Donald said on Friday. So when asked about the situation in Europe, he added, it's very complicated, but we are going to get some back. We're going to get some switched. There'll be some swapping of territory to the betterment of both. All right, so that's a very important information right there, guys. Let me just highlight it. That's the update. All right. So Donald said there will be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both. All right, so we're going to get some switched. And this is again, this is how you end the biblical war: dialogue, communicate, instead of firing missiles and stuff. Meanwhile, you have the news report that Putin has told the U.S. he is willing to halt the war in exchange for control of eastern Ukraine. Now, if Donald and Putin meet, it will be the first U.S. and Russia summit since 2021, when former leader Joe met Putin in Geneva. Now, it will be a significant milestone towards Donald's effort to end the war. Although there's no guarantee it will stop the fighting, since Moscow and Kiev remain far apart on their conditions for peace. So let's say this happens. Let's say, the territory swapped and all those regions in the Donbass be under Putin control. Does that mean Zelensky will hand his power over to someone else? Because again, martial law has to be lifted, right? So it says here, the president comments came as Ukrainian soldiers on the battlefield expressed little hope for a diplomatic solution to the war. And Donald's deadline arrived Friday for the Kremlin to make peace. Now it says here, in the Proverbs area of Donetsk, a commander said he believes Moscow isn't interested in peace. It is impossible to negotiate with them. The only option is to defeat them. See, that's the problem. You got some that is happy about ending this biblical war. You got others that are saying we got to continue this. We have to continue the biblical war, and we have to beat them. We have to defeat them. That's the only option. Once again, this is coming out of Buddha, a commander of a drone unit in the Spartan Brigade, told the Associated Press. He used only his call sign in keeping with the rules of the Ukrainian military. I would like them to agree and for all this to stop, but the bear will not agree to that. It does not want to negotiate. So the only option is to defeat them. In other words, the only option, WW3. All right, so Putin Donald just put out very important information that Putin is willing to halt the operation in exchange for territories. But Ukrainian is saying that's not going to work. We need to defeat them. All right, give me a second here. I want to bring this information up. If you guys hear rain in the background, it's raining, and yeah, it's been raining all day here in the state of Florida. The U.S. Commander-in-Chief told reporters on August the 8th that a potential peace deal between Moscow and Kiev will likely include some swapping of territory. I truly apologize about the advertisement. Coles is putting out some advertisement, and again, it just popped out. Truly apologize. August 8th, that a potential peace deal between Moscow and Kiev would likely include some swapping of territory, as the U.S. Commander-in-Chief prepares to hold a summit with Vladimir next week. Well, you're looking at territory that's been fought over for 3.5 years, so we're looking at that, but we're actually looking to get some back, Donald said during a press conference alongside the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan. Some swapping is complicated. Here's the thing. They're not going to give up Crimea. The Bears not going to give up Crimea. I don't think so. We're going to get some back. We're going to get some switched. There will be some swapping of territory to the betterment of both, Donald said. Now it says here, Donald did not specify what he meant by swapping, though it possibly referred to Crimea. That's what I'm saying. I don't think the Bears going to give up Crimea. I don't think so. 2014, that was like almost 12 years ago. And it says illegally annexed in 2014. Well, it's like saying that Texas should go back to Mexico. So, in parts of Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson Oblast. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't see that happening. I don't see the Bear giving up those territory. The Bear declared the annexation of the latter four regions, which are partially occupied by the Bear, in 2022 following Sham referendum, seemingly ramping up pressure to come to a peace agreement. Donald said that Zelensky was going to have to get ready to sign something without specifying what terms to agreement may be present. Now, the comments come ahead of a proposed summit between Donald and Putin that may be held at the end of next week, the news reported. Now, the details or exact timing of the meeting remain unclear, according to the news. It was not immediately clear as to whether it would involve Zelensky. Now, Donald told European leaders and Zelensky that Putin is open to negotiation if land swaps are included in the talks, Bloomberg reported on August 7, citing its undisclosed sources. Bloomberg later reported on August 8 that the Sleeping Giant and the Bear are seeking to reach a territorial agreement to cement Moscow occupation of Ukrainian territories and end the biblical war. The proposed deal is aimed at freezing the conflict and laying the groundwork for a cease plan and technical negotiation towards a final peace settlement, the news agency reported, with Vladimir demanding that Ukraine cede all of Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast, as well as Crimea. I just don't see that happening. I don't see the Bear giving up those territory. So you see the pink ones, all this here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the Bear controls these region here, all right? And they've been controlled Crimea since 2014. These are the new territory that was annexed back in 2022. All right, Kherson, Zaporizhia, Donetsk, and Luhansk. All right. So, Ukraine, you have Zelensky telling the Bear, we want everything back, everything including Crimea. The Bear saying no. Donald saying there's going to be a swap. There's going to be territory exchange. I don't know how that's going to work, but we should find out sooner or later. The green means that territory liberated by Ukraine since the start of the full-scale invasion in February 2022. All right, so it says here, Ukraine presidential office have not yet commented on Donald comments on swapping territory. In his evening address issued before Donald public comments, Zelensky said that Ukraine is continuing our active negotiation with partners to reach a common position for a reliable peace for Ukraine, a truly genuine peace, criticizing Moscow for continuously rejecting proposed cease plan. So far, we see that the Bear are ignoring a cease plan, at least for now, Zelensky added. Vladimir has publicly demanded that Ukraine forego NATO membership and withdraw troops from all four regions as preconditions for peace. Under this condition, several large cities under Ukrainian control will have to be handed over to Russia. Huh. I don't know how this is going to work out. I guess there's a possibility. The bear gets 50% of Crane. The other 50% would go NATO. I mean, there's a possibility. Alright, we shall see sooner or later. Guys, give me a second here. Let me just pull up this information really quick. So Donald is taking his role as the world's peacemaker in chief seriously, and this time the stakes were centuries deep. Armenia and Azerbaijan, locked in one of the world's most stubborn conflict, arrived in DC, bitter and unbending. But after a marathon of high-pressure talks, the impossible happened. The room erupted in cheers as both leaders signed a deal, ending decades of biblical war in a moment no one saw coming. Wow. Someone said now it's Russia and Ukraine turn. Alright, so what are your thoughts, guys? Leave comments down below. But we are definitely seeing something here. And this is a type of Donald that's we were all looking for, all right? Not the Donald sending equipments and money to Ukraine. Hopefully, we could see something like this happening with Putin and Zelensky, shaking hands and ending the biblical war. All right, next week is going to be the big one. So today, Donald just put out all that information of territory swaps, and hopefully we could see history being made here. U.S. Commander-in-Chief would go down the history books as bringing peace to certain nations around the world. Something that the other side has failed to do. Instead of sending money, instead of dialogue, they send a lot of money. Donald, he's a different type of person. He wants to see nation coming together. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please share the video. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Once again, guys, $5 a month Patreon. We get you access to our live stream once a week. We talk about things that we cannot talk about on the platform. Also, I posted videos today. Those links will be in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Faith and trust in Jesus Christ. For it's the only way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.